Welcome back, everyone. Today, I've got one of the greatest immortal chess games ever, played by none other than Ding Liren. So join us as we analyze one of the greatest chess games ever played. Ding Liren had the black pieces against Jin Bai, and the game begins with d4, knight f6 and c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop e4 from Ding, opting for a Nimzo-Indian defense. Knight f3 from white. This is one of the many ways white can respond. White develops the knight and prepares to develop the other pieces. Castles from Ding and bishop g5 from white, pinning the knight. White gets the bishop out before playing e3. c5 striking at white's center, and then e3 defending. C takes d4 from Ding, and here white, instead of taking with the pawn, takes with the queen. This is a very interesting way to take as it allows black to play knight c6, developing the knight with tempo. Jin now has to retreat the knight to d3, and black now plays h6, attacking the bishop. After bishop h4, black can now play g5 whenever he wants in order to allow his knight to move. d5, taking space in the center, and after rook d1, we have g5 from black. The idea being to kick out the bishop so that the black knight can now move. After bishop g3, black plays knight e4, applying pressure to the pinned c3 knight. White responds with knight d2, blocking the pin and trying to exchange off black's strong, centralized knight. Black declines the knight trade and plays knight c5, attacking the white queen. Queen c2, and then d4, pushing the central pawn deep into white's territory. White cannot take, as this allows black to recapture with the knight and attack the queen. White finds this clever defensive move. Knight f3, adding an extra attacker to the pawn and exploiting the pin on the d-file to prevent black from taking the knight. Here black plays the lovely e5, defending the d4 pawn. This move seems to just lose a pawn, but that's the idea. White takes on e5 with the knight, and the purpose of this pawn sacrifice is to deflect the knight from the defense of d2. Why? Well, you can pause the video if you want to try and figure out the idea behind this move. In this position, Ding Liren played the absolutely brilliant d takes c3, taking the knight and leaving the queen to die. White plays rook takes d8, and Ding captures on b2 with a discovered check, and white plays king e2. The best move would have been to play rook d2, blocking the check, after which black would play rook d8, applying pressure to the pinned piece, and for this reason it's important that the knight's on e5 and not f3, where it would defend the rook. This would give black just enough time to cause problems and keep the position equal. But in the game, after king e2, black just recaptured the rook on d8, and the king hunt has just begun. Queen takes b2 from white, getting rid of the strong passed pawn. Knight a4, attacking the queen, and after queen c2, black plays knight c3 check, forcing the king out. The king can't go backwards due to the powerful dark square bishop that would set about deadly discovered checks. King f3 from white, and if you want to, you can pause again to try and find Ding's next brilliant move. In this position, Ding played the amazing rook d4, sacrificing the rook. The idea is to threaten a checkmate with g4. White cannot take due to the fork. This is why white plays h3, protecting g4, and Ding plays h5, re-enabling the threat of g4. Bishop h2 from white, creating an escape square on g3 for the king. g4 check, king g3, and now Ding played another brilliant move. In this position, Ding played the brilliant rook d2, attacking the queen and once again taking advantage of the fork if white takes. The idea is to deflect the queen from the defense of the e4 square. After queen b3, we have knight e4 check, king h4, bishop e7 check, king takes h5, and king g7, clearing out the 8th rank for the rook. Bishop f4 from white, improving the bishop, closing the f-file and preparing bishop h6 check. Bishop f5, defending the knight and preparing bishop g6 in the future. Bishop h6 check, king h7, and queen takes b7, going for some queenside counterplay and attacking multiple black pieces. Ding doesn't defend any of the pieces and instead plays rook takes f2, removing the defender of g3 and threatening knight to g3 checkmate. Bishop g5 from white, blocking the dark square bishop's diagonal and creating a safe square on h4. Rook h8, rotating the rook over and preparing to move the king with a lethal discovered check. Knight takes f7, bishop g6 check, king takes g4, and now Ding finished the game with the lovely knight e5 sacrifice. White resigned here, but the idea is to deflect the knight from the defense of h6, so that black now has bishop f5, king h5, and then king g7 discovered check. Now the knight can't defend h3, so after bishop h6, rook takes h6 is a lovely checkmate. This was just a brilliant game I wanted to analyze and share with you. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe, and as always, keep improving your chess. Now, go promote some pawns.